Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So I uploaded my first video yesterday and I think it went really well. I'm super excited about the new subscribers and all the new people that commented, so thank you so much. That was so nice. I try to get back to everybody, and that's another thing. I love commenting on other people's videos and just chatting in the comments, so please feel free to leave a comment below, and I love to chat with y'all. So today I'm gonna kind of combine two videos, and that's going to be my July wrap up and my August TBR. Now I am very much a mood reader, so my August TBR can very well change. But as of right now, I feel pretty confident in the books that I have picked out. And a lot of them are, I got my list here, a lot of them are on the Kindle and Kindle Unlimited. And several of the books that I read in July were on my Kindle as well. My actual, eventually I want to film with where my bookshelf is literally on the other side of the camera. And I have all my books currently packed up because I was going to rearrange some things and change my setup. I just don't know anymore. I haven't quite decided. So a couple of the physical books that I actually have on Kindle Unlimited as well, so I read those, but I do have the physical books. But I will try to, I'm going to link them below, or at least list them below, but I'm also going to try to insert a picture here of each book that I'm talking about so you know what it looks like. So first with the July wrap up, I started out the month with some pretty good books. The first book was Love in the Silver Lining by Tammy L. Gray, and that is the second book in this, I think it's the State of Grace trilogy. The third book is coming out in just a couple days, I think August 2nd. I love this trilogy. Well, the first two at least. I'm 100,000%. That will probably be the first book I read in August, is the third book, which is Love and the Dream Come True. And I do recommend, I know a lot of people have been recommending this, is don't read the blurbs on the back because it could spoil certain things for other people in other books. So if you're interested in that, don't read the back. It is contemporary romance, Christian contemporary romance. It's wonderful. I love Tammy L. Gray. So there's that. And then the second book, and I'm not going to talk too much about Love in the Silver Lining because, again, if you haven't read the first one, it could ruin some things, but I just have to say, I think I love the second book more than the first, which is shocking because I really thought, I just didn't think that the other two would compare to the first one, but I'm telling you, I really related to the main character in the second book. It's honestly one of the best books I've read this whole year, and definitely making the list of one of my top favorite books of all time. I just felt like God was speaking to me directly through that book. It is so beautiful. It's so good. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much in detail because I don't want to ruin anything for anybody else if you haven't read the first one. Okay, the second book I read is Stay With Me by Becky Wade. Love Becky Wade. Let's do our little Amanda, book lover Amanda. She loves her some Becky Wade, and I do too. I love Becky Wade. A lot of her books are on Kindle Unlimited as well, and that's how I've read a lot of her books, is on Kindle Unlimited. But I do have this physical copy. Again, I don't have it to show you because it is packed up and it's down in the bottom of one of these totes, but I will put a picture up. I was kind of hesitant going into this book. I know so many people love it. So many people love this book, and it's the first book in the newer series by Becky Wade, and the Misty River romance trilogy, and it's super good. I really loved it. It has Genevieve as the main character, and then Sam Turner as like the secondary, I guess, love interest. That doesn't ruin anything for you, but it was so good. And surprisingly, I usually connect with the female characters more in a lot of Becky Wade's books, more than the men. But I connected so much with Sam in this book. He is just a wonderful character. I loved the progression of the character development. I did have a hard time connecting with Genevieve, but wow, and it was a little slow at first because I was struggling to connect with her, but wow, it was so good. It is one of my top favorite Becky Wade books. It is just such a beautiful story of redemption and forgiveness, and Becky Wade is just so good at writing faith, so good at writing just beautiful stories of these broken people and just God's mercy and love over them. It's just so beautiful, and she's so good at writing those types of stories. So yeah, I highly recommend that as well. I haven't read the other two in that series, but I do have the second one in my library on my Kindle because it's free on Kindle Unlimited. Or no, it's not. Yes, it is. It is. It's free on Kindle Unlimited. I'm so excited to read it. I didn't include it on my August TBR, but I might just sneak it in there. And then I do have a physical book for my next one. It is A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. This is a reread for me. I read this book back in not seventh grade, sophomore year of high school. And I grew up binging A Walk to Remember, the movie with Mandy Moore and Shane West. I binged that movie like every weekend growing up. I loved the movie. And then when I got old enough and everything, I read the book, and gosh, this one really hits you in the feels. It is just so good. And look at how pretty this like fall cover is. It might be turned around because I'm doing the front facing camera, but it is like very fall vibes. If you're into that, you might want to wait and read it in the fall. It is kind of a more cozy fall type book, but it is wonderful. It is a tearjerker. It's not very long. I think it's right under 200 pages. Yeah, I think it is, because they have a little blurb of his, at the time I think of his next book, but it's like 190? I don't know. It's under 200, so it is a very quick read. It is sad, so if, like, you know, sad things kind of trigger you, you might not want to pick it up, but it is a beautiful story. Love the movie, love the book equally. Phenomenal. The next book is, and I actually listened to this one. I don't have, again, the physical copy. I'm sorry. But it is 8 Perfect Murders by Swanson. I can't remember his first name, but his last name's Swanson. And 8 Perfect Murders. This is very different for me. My brother got that book from the library, and he read it, and he loved it. He gave it 5 stars. And he said it was one of the best books that he had read in a long time. So I was like, yeah, mystery, thriller, I have to be in the mood for it. I'm very much a mood reader, so I have to be in the mood for a mystery and a thriller. I was like, you know what, I'll give it a go. And I had some extra credits on Audible, and I love listening to books while I read, or while I work. So I picked that up on Audible, and I listened to it throughout the work week, and my goodness, it was a good book. It does have some content like language and alcohol and drug use, but it's not super explicit by any means, but there is some cursing in it. But it was a really good book, and I read the reviews afterwards, and people were like, this was predictable. Not to me. I was blown away. I was like shook when I finished that book. I was sitting there, and I think I immediately called my brother. He was calling me, like, he ended up calling me, and I was like, I have 18 minutes left. I'm almost done. And it took the biggest turn at the very end. It was very good. Definitely recommend it. I can't remember. I just realized I'm not giving my star ratings. I do have them all on Goodreads. I will link my Goodreads below. I can't remember what I rated it. I think I gave it a 4, but because there was some aspects I didn't quite love, but it was a really good book, and if you're into mystery and thriller, I'd give it a go. The next book is, again, it was an Audible read on Kindle Unlimited. and it's My Foolish Heart by Susan May Warren. I love Susan May Warren. I don't feel like that many people talk about her. I definitely heard about this from Oceana, and she mentioned in one of her videos. If I can find it and I remember it, I'll leave it below. But she loved this book, and she said that it was one of those books. I think it was in one of her tags, and it was like a book that was like life-changing, and her other one was Redeeming Love, and then My Foolish Heart by Susan May Warren. And the main character really struggles with anxiety and panic attacks, and she had like a traumatic event happen in her life, and it was so good. I was crying. Again, this one is a contemporary romance, but it's much more than a romance. It was so touching, and especially if you struggle with anxiety and just fear of certain things, I think you could really connect to this. Like I said, it's not super heavy on romance. It is considered romance, but it is much more than a romance novel. I loved it. Oh, it's so good. And yeah, it's free on Kindle Unlimited. Highly recommend. I love Susan May Warren. I've read Take a Chance on Me for her as well, and she writes really good. She writes like several POVs, and in some ways I love that. In some ways I dislike that, because at times it can be kind of a lot to keep up with all these different point of views from different characters, but loved it. I really recommend Susan May Warren. She writes, contemporary Christian fiction. She has a ton of books, and there's a lot on Kindle Unlimited as well that's for free for her, so highly recommend that. And then the last book, which I have in my hands, is by Catherine Sinner, Things You Save in a Fire. Okay guys, I bought this at Books A Million like the very beginning of the month, like the first week or two of this month. Wow. I picked it up because, again, Oceana recommended it. Oceana gives the best book recommendations, and I had never read a book by Catherine Sinner, and this is just a more clean fiction. It's not Christian fiction, and there is language in this, like GD and the F word, which is why this isn't a 5-star read for me, just because I just felt like the language wasn't necessary. But just so you know, it is in there. It was so good. I picked it up at the beginning of the month, and I just couldn't really get into it. Like, I read the first couple chapters and I was like, I'm not really feeling it. But I do have to say, it was while I was reading that second book in Tammy L. Grace series, and I just was loving it. And I think I was kind of just a little too excited to read that book instead of this one when I started it. But I ended up finishing this yesterday. Yeah, well, technically this morning at like 2 a.m. But my gosh, it was so good. Like, the more the book goes on, the better that it gets. And the message of just forgiveness in this is so beautiful. And again, I don't want to say the romance was like a heavy theme. I mean, there is romance in this, but that message of forgiveness and that theme of forgiveness is super, super good. So I highly recommend. I got on sale at Books A Million, like I said, and it's really good. And I think this might also be on Kindle Unlimited for free as well. I'm just shouting out Kindle Unlimited. Like, guys, it's so worth it for me. Like, if you like Christian fiction, Christian romance, Christian historical fiction, tons of books on Kindle Unlimited for free. So that is my July wrap up. It wasn't a lot. I don't read tons of books at once, like within a month. I'm very much a mood reader and just kind of go with how I feel. Sometimes, when I've worked through the whole week, I'm tired at night, and so I can't read quite as much throughout the week, like maybe that I would want to. But over the weekend is when I read most. And so I don't get through books as quickly as what I used to, but that's pretty darn good wrap up for me. So I'm really happy. I didn't have anything under a 4-star. Everything was 4 or 5 stars. Amazing. Loved all these books. It was a great reading month. I have high hopes for August. I'm very excited. My birthday was July 15th, so I got some books for my birthday, and so we'll just go into the August TBR, and one of the first books is from my birthday book haul, which I showed on my bookstagram at Bailey's Bookshelf, is TailorMade by Alex Seeley, y'all. This is a Christian nonfiction. It sounds amazing. It's TailorMade, Discover the Secret to Who God Created You to Be. And I'll just read the back because it just really drew me in, and gosh, I'm so excited to read this. I might start this first, or I might start, what is it? Love and the Dream Come True by Tammy L. Gray. I might read them interchangeably. I might read some of that by Tammy L. Gray first this month when it comes in the mail in the next day or two, and then start this. So it says, "You're an accident. Alex Seeley heard that message at an early age, and it stuck. Unwanted became a label she wore for years. There were other labels too. Stupid, ugly, foreigner, unsuccessful, infertile. By God's grace, however, those labels no longer define who Alex is or what she can be. Your labels don't have to define you either. If you've ever wondered what God was thinking when He made you, or if you've wrestled with those big questions, why am I here? What's my purpose? Then TailorMade is for you. The powerful truths explored in these pages will help you recognize the wrong thinking and labels that can come from many different sources, like generational patterns, insecurities, difficult circumstances, unforgiveness, an inaccurate view of God, and more. You're not one size fits all. Reject that lie. Your designer knows you've been tailor-made." I just love that. Oh my goodness. I'm a part of the Low Sister community on Sadie Robertson's app, and first of all, I love that community, and this was one of their book club reads a couple weeks ago, and I just hadn't hopped on that train. I was busy, I was reading other things, and I just didn't get this. But I started going through people's posts about this book on there, and my gosh, it was wonderful. I was like, I have to get this book. So I requested it for my birthday, and my wonderful mother and father got it for me. So thanks, Mom and Dad. So excited to read this. And like I said, the other book on my TBR is Love and the Dream Come True by Tammy L. Gray. Third book in the State of Grace series. Wonderful. I'm not really going to talk much about it. I'll save that for the wrap up. But again, I don't want to spoil anything if any of you haven't read the first one, or if you have and haven't read the second one, I don't want to ruin it. So then the next one is The Waves of Mercy duology by Lynn Austin. And I saw Taylor at I think it's Tales and Treats with Tay. I'm trying to remember her full username, but Taylor is wonderful. She just posted a video, I think it was yesterday, and she was reading the second book in this, The Waves of Mercy duology, and it sounded wonderful, and she loved the first one. And so again, I looked it up on Kindle Unlimited, and they were there and free. So I really want to read that. I think it's like historical Christian fiction. I'm very excited. It sounds wonderful, and other people in the comments were talking about how they liked it. So I will link her video below, and you can go check out her video and her talking about it. So that's 2 books, the first and the second, and then in that duology, and then the fourth book that I have, 5th book actually, yeah, TailorMade, the duology, and then Love and the Dream Come True. So the 5th book is Whose Waves Are These by Amanda Dykes. And again, I saw Taylor, I think it might have been in that video, or it might have been in one of her book mail videos. Again, I'll link it all below so y'all can check her out. And I think Miriam sent her the Amanda Dykes book, the Whose Waves Are These by Amanda Dykes. And I've been seeing Amanda Dykes a lot lately, and I'm very intrigued by her books, and people seem to really love her. And I'm trying to branch out and not just read contemporary Christian romance or just romance in general, which I know a lot of these are romance, but I think it's more of like historical fiction, Christian fiction. So very excited. That's all I have on my list right now for the TBR. August isn't going to be too crazy for me that I know of, but again, I don't like to put too much pressure on myself to read all these books in 1 month. I just love to take my time, enjoy the read that I'm soaking in, and just enjoying the story that I'm reading. And so I try not to put too much pressure on myself. So yeah, I'm super excited. And The Waves of Mercy by Amanda Dykes is on Kindle Unlimited. I should be sponsored. JK, I'm not sponsored, but I really have been loving my Kindle. I got it several months ago. It was when they had them on sale. Sorry, my allergies are acting up. Gotta get my coffee, guys. Dunkin' for the win. But I got it when it was on sale, so I think I got my Kindle. It's just the basic Kindle, and it was like $50. And my sister-in-law also got one at the same exact time. Like, we both ordered one the same, I think it was like the same day, or she ordered hers one the day before, and then we were talking that day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was just looking at Kindles, and so I bought one. And yeah, so if you have a Kindle and have Kindle Unlimited, make sure you look up those books on Kindle Unlimited. They have so many options for free, and I have really, really enjoyed it. So that's it, guys. Please let me know your favorite books from July that you read, and the most excited books that you're excited to read in August down below. Hopefully this setup is good, guys. I'm sitting on the floor. It's a little bit different than what it was in my first video, and hopefully the lighting's okay. I live in good old West Virginia, and I feel like all it's done the last month, 2 weeks almost, completely is rain and thunderstorms. And if it's not doing that, it's literally 95 and blistering hot out. But yeah, like all this week it rained. I looked at the 10-day forecast today, rain. And it's because I was like, I'm gonna wait until we have a really sunny day and film my next video so I have better lighting. Nope. Rain and clouds and thunderstorms next 10 days. So I hope this is good, guys. I'm so excited to be here. There was such sweet comments on my last video. Thank you all so much. I know I've rambled on a lot, and again, I know this won't be perfect, but I will get better as time goes on. And I just really hope that if any of these books interest you and you read them, please also let me know what you thought. I have Goodreads, my bookstagram, and then of course my YouTube channel. I love to chat about books, and I love connecting with y'all. So please message me, leave comments. I'll be happy to get back with you and have fun chats. I can't wait. I'll talk to you guys later. See you in the next one. Bye.